Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to the Ridiculously Lame Wrestling Show. I am joined, as always, by Mr. Robert Lentini, a 10-year vet covering this industry, now working for Sportskeeda. And my name is Tony Squares, and I have no accomplishments whatsoever in this field, but I do enjoy talking about wrestling. Today is a chock-full show. We're going to have our main card of the week where we break down the biggest stories in the world of wrestling. We're going to have Backlash predictions, and we are buying or selling this pay-per-view and telling you whether you should do the same. It is in France. You're going to have to wake up at a weird time to watch it. Should you even care, we will let you know. And then we will end with the gimmicks of the week where we sort of spitfire a couple of topics that made us laugh, made us chuckle throughout the week. And I am excited. I am excited, Robert. The wrestling world keeps going, keeps chugging along. We have another pay-per-view. And let me ask you this before we open up the main card of the week. Do we have too many pay-per-views in the world of wrestling?
I think so, yeah, and I think AEW is looking to add more as we go on. So we're just going to be predicting and reviewing pay-per-views for the rest of our lives, it seems.
That's the entirety. That's the entirety of our show. But before we get to Backlash, we need to talk about the week of wrestling that was, because a lot has happened in both promotions. So we are now debuting for the first time the main card of the week. And for the curtain jerker, the first subject we are going to talk about is the subject that ended AEW Dynamite this week, a returning Kenny Omega came back to Winnipeg, told us that he was 24 hours away from dying due to diverticulitis. And thank goodness he got to the hospital in time, but he is still nowhere near healed. He might need to have surgery, might need to have a colostomy bag. We do not know when that man can come back or if he ever will come back, but he came back to the ring to talk to his fans, to give us a friendly hello, an update on what was going on. And then he was brutally attacked by the Elite, by Jungle Boy Jack Perry, the Scapegoat, by Okada, by Matt and Nick Jackson. FTR came out and tried to save him. They were unsuccessful in it. And Kenny, we talked about this last week, Bob. I told you that he was going to come back and we were going to see who the next challenger was to the Elite. We did not get that. We got the Elite standing tall again. But we both agreed that there was no way that Kenny Omega would get physical in this ring, because this is not a fake. This is not a story. This is a shoot injury, a shoot situation that he is dealing with. And he took multiple shots, not just to the head and neck area, but to where you're not supposed to take any shots whatsoever when you're dealing with this. During this segment, were you at any point a little bit fearful for Kenny Omega, the man, not the wrestler?
Yeah, of course I was. It's just especially like, Kenny Omega, I feel bad for him. This situation, but the crowd loved him in Winnipeg, and he's got a great hometown reaction. But yeah, I did fear for him. I felt bad. I just don't want him to be injured. They cannot afford any more people on the shelf any longer. I would have preferred that him just send in a video just to play it safe. Hey guys, don't worry about it. I'm on my couch. Here's my colostomy bag right here. I'll be back in a few months. That's what I would have preferred. But what we got tonight, I thought was well done, given everything that's gone on in the company. Obviously the Young Bucks will never be for me, but this segment tonight I thought was very well done, and something that they really, really needed to follow up well after the Tony Khan attack. And I thought they achieved that tonight. How about you?
I agree completely. I thought it was extremely well done. I truly despise these men now. You know what I mean? Like it's not just wrestling stuff. Like, I am genuinely angry with what they did to Kenny Omega, but I'm a little bit fearful of it because, again, it was a wrestling bit, but he did take physical activity to something that, again, I cannot stress enough. He was dropped from a stretcher onto pavement. Like, you can't protect that, especially when you're dealing with what he's dealing with. You just got to hope it works out. And they were very much playing with fire in this segment, and I hope nobody got burned. But it was an effective segment in the long run. I did love how the beginning of the show, Tony Khan comes on and delivers a message, and they cut him out and cut to Matthew and Nicholas Jackson. We are seeing the next version of the Young Bucks and the Elite, and I'm very much enjoying this bad boy run that we are going on. It feels, not to, I never like when young NBA players are compared to Michael Jordan, but this feels a little NWO-ish. They're taking over the show. They're running the authority. They're beating everybody up every week. They have yet to see a challenger. They have yet to see Sting coming down from the rafters to step up to them. They're adding people every week, it seems, and I don't think they're done adding people. So I am excited to see what the future holds. And I mean, you said the Young Bucks aren't for you, but the Scapegoat, Okada, these guys looking more powerful, more important in your eyes.
Yeah, Jack Perry is the one that has come out of this looking the best to me.
You think so?
Just the video. That's the only benefit I took from that video, is that Jack Perry really did nothing wrong besides say a comment that was not worthy of CM Punk attacking him. That was my takeaway from that video. So Jack Perry looks like roses, and he's getting the reactions, and he's got that evil smirk down. And that's such an important thing. Every time he looks at the camera, he's got that bastard, jackass, evil smirk. That is great. And the only thing I would have changed about this segment really is when you said that they tipped over the stretcher onto the pavement, I would have just filmed like a rental car smashing into the ambulance without Omega in it, just to write him off television. Because you already said like another couple months, and if Jack Perry driving the rental car would have been hilarious too. Yeah, that would have been epic. But I am looking forward to Okada versus Omega. They teased that tonight. He said in a couple months I'll get back. I don't know if that'll be for that Continental Classic Championship or whatever. Maybe make that important. But overall, I thought this was a killer way to end Dynamite and roll over into the start of Rampage, which I immediately shut off after the Omega segment. It was a very well done segment, and I didn't realize how much I missed Kenny Omega. I guess he's one of the guys that I do not despise. He's not overly goofy. He can be sometimes, but I thought his promo was sincere tonight, and he sold the attack well. He looked like he was dying on the pavement. He was in so much pain. So kudos to them, and overall, just a very good segment.
Yeah, you said it right, man. I absolutely missed Kenny Omega on my television screen, because the man, like Will Ospreay, is appointment television every time he's on the screen, especially when he's in the ring. And sometimes on the microphone, he's not the best promo. Not everybody is, but you love him for what he can do in the ring. Tonight, however, I thought it was one of the best promos he's ever given. And it did feel sincere. It did feel real. And then the attack afterwards was all that better because of it. FTR coming out to save Kenny Omega or protect him. That was interesting to me because, again, FTR is obviously always opposite of the Young Bucks, and I guess they are good guys or playing baby faces as much as they can the past few weeks. But are we to see FTR again be the ones to step up against this team? And they got the crap kicked out of them, so they're going to need some help as well. Who would you like to see sort of side with FTR here to fight the Young Bucks and Okada and Jack Perry? And don't say CM Punk.
Well, the whole time I was watching this, I was like, Jesus Christ, this feud would have been awesome if that was CM Punk in the ring instead of Kenny Omega with this whole storyline. But it is what it is. We can't change history. I don't know. Powerhouse Hobbs is injured. I'm just trying to look at the roster for people that I just are just fading into nothingness. So Ricky Starks, is he alive? Like one of these guys that we haven't seen in a while.
His tickets to Connecticut.
Jeez, like make someone into a star and align them with FTR. Makes someone we haven't even thought of is what I want to say. We've seen enough of Shibata, Jericho, all these people. Like, give me someone new. You have a roster of 85,000 wrestlers. Like, let's try something new here. But I'm a little tired of FTR versus the Young Bucks, to be honest with you. That's one thing. Another thing I would have changed. I would have had another team come out, or just Copeland or someone. Anyone else.
That's why I was interested. FTR was the ones that can't come out, because they usually do a good job of bringing those guys together. They have an epic feud, and then they're separate for 6 months, and then you really want that feud again. But they're the ones back, and I think it's got to be Hangman, man. I do think Hangman Adam Page is the one to come back, even though Swerve is his main rival right now, and Swerve has the belt, and that's another storyline Hangman can step into. But I do think it's going to be Hangman to bring him to fight off the Elite here. But we shall know in due time. Our next match on this main card of subjects we need to talk about is our boy Tony Khan. Took the injury and then had the NFL draft, where his father is a legit NFL owner, and he was in the war room with the neck brace on, not really selling it, but didn't really know the cameras were on him, but then was doing interviews where he was kind of grabbing it. Listen, Tony Khan's not an actor. He's an awkward human being, but A+ for trying to extend the bit, trying to live the gimmick. And then he kind of ruins it when he goes on NFL Network, I believe, interviewed him, and he's talking about taking the pile driver, and he's talking about the battle between AEW and WWE, and he called AEW the Pepsi of wrestling, and he called WWE the Harvey Weinstein of wrestling. And the hosts of NFL Network were very good to immediately stop the conversation. I thought that was very good by them, because Tony Khan thought he had we have a lot of rap battles going on right now. Drake and Kendrick Lamar going at each other, and Tony Khan came in and thought he had a bar, and it did not land the way he thought it did. But Bob, as you are the WWE guy, What did you take from this comment?
Well, my initial reaction was just like pure rage for some reason. I was so pissed. I have no idea why. I was like, what is this guy's problem? And then I calmed down for a minute and thought about it. And I was like, look, I understand what he's doing. I've said this like 10 times on this show. I'll say it forever. I get the idea of the challenger brand thing that Tony Khan always talks about.
Yeah.
Like he's Pepsi to Coca-Cola. We're the underdogs, even though that Pepsi is a huge conglomerate. But anyways, like he was, I understand what he's trying to do.
Pepsi is also so much worse than Coca-Cola. Like you could find another underdog company to beat. Nobody likes Pepsi over Coca-Cola. Sorry.
Yeah, it's true. I don't. I sure as hell don't. Coca-Cola forever. But anyways, Tony Khan, I feel like he's stuck in this. When AEW started, it was perfect because Vince McMahon was so out of touch. Everything was a cartoon character, and here comes AEW, and this real attitude, the return of CM Punk, everything is going well. But it was because of Vince McMahon, and he's so out of touch, and he just wanted everything to be done his way. Well, Vince McMahon is like Harvey Weinstein. He is a pervert, and that has been found out, and he could wind up in prison. He can barely show his face anywhere. He wasn't welcome at WrestleMania, so I get what he's saying, but Vince McMahon's gone. He has to update his software. He's battling Triple H now. He's lost the cool factor to Triple H. I don't know how, because Triple H to me comes off as an arrogant prick sometimes, but he has somehow lost the cool factor to Triple H because Tony Khan, his heart may be in the right place, but he has the social skills of like an insect. Sometimes he just is a bumbling buffoon sometimes. And it's like either I agree with you. I think he thought of that line like 3 months ago and has just been waiting for the time to say it. And that's what annoys me. It's like that wasn't the spur of the moment. Oh shit, I'm sorry. I said that. That was something he came in there ready to go with, and it just blew up in his face. And I just want him to move on from Vince McMahon. We're all trying to. Tony, why don't you do that as well?
Yeah, to me, it was an embarrassing moment. And it didn't ruin all the stuff that he had built up because he did a lot of great stuff with the NFL draft and getting NFL Network to actually say things during the draft about the AEW. Like you won the day when you were doing stuff like that. And then to have that interview the next day on NFL Network is huge. It's a whole swath of people who have never even heard about your product that you are now essentially pitching live on the air. So I thought that was awesome to get that opportunity, and him saying that comment just made him the butt of the joke once again. So I'm right there with you. Stay away from bashing the world of Vince McMahon and just focus on the troubles in your own house. But let's move on now to the world of Vince McMahon. Our next match on the card of the week here. I want to talk a little bit about what's going on with the Judgment Day. We had a lot of stuff happening with Logan Paul and Patrick Mahomes and JD McDonough having the reddest face you've ever seen. But the biggest thing that you want to talk about is a little production work by WWE, stuff that's happening in the background of these backstage segments. We've talked about the upping of the production value of WWE has seen since they fired a couple of idiots and have now just gone into a new era of covering the world of wrestling, and it has been excellent. So with all the things that are happening in Judgment Day, the breakup that seems to be on the horizon, we also got Liv Morgan and Dominic Mysterio sort of exiting the same locker room together and walking down the hallway. Bob, this is great wrestling.
Yeah, it's very entertaining for nerds like me. It's just you're watching a backstage interview with Jey Uso, and all of a sudden you see Liv Morgan walk out of the room, and you're like, oh, that's interesting. Then 8 seconds later, Dominic Mysterio walks out of the same room, and your mind goes like, are they having an affair? Like, it's just stupid stuff that you get. Like, is he cheating on Rhea Ripley, even though he's married in real life? That's just, you allow yourself to get caught up in these silly storylines. At least I do, just because that's why I watch this crap. And I just thought that was really well done. And they've done a lot of stuff like that in the background of things with people. You see Andrade conversing with the Judgment Day before WrestleMania, before he betrayed the Judgment Day. Like, you see, talking about business with the Judgment. You see this all the time, and it's a new thing. And they're doing production stuff with the entrances. Sami Zayn's entrance in Montreal a couple weeks ago was great. And this is one of those things where I hope AEW is watching, because their backstage segments need a lot of work, man.
Yeah,
they just do. They just really awkward. I love Renee Paquette. You are not going to find a better interviewer than Renee Paquette. And sometimes those things just come off as awkward, cheap. Yeah. It looks like high school play stuff. Yeah. Like, but in WWE, it just is everything on screen, shown on the screen, has a purpose.
Yeah.
And I thought that Liv Morgan and Dominic Mysterio thing adds so much, because Rhea Ripley had to relinquish her title, And now if Liv Morgan's the champion because of Dominic Mysterio in this storyline, and Rhea Ripley comes back and has to battle Liv and Dom or something crazy like that, that's just such an interesting way to go. And I just thought it was a brilliant little thing. Go ahead.
Exactly. The best part is we don't know any of it. Like it's just the little Easter eggs. Let the wrestling fan do the work. We've said that on this show before. You show them a glimpse of something, they're going to do the work and take it down 70 different angles of what it could be, and they're going to be more interested to see what happens because of it. So stepping on to the next part of Judgment Day, with all these, inner machinations going on between this group, do you want to predict when we see sort of the breakup here and who turns on who?
Well, I think Damian Priest is on his way out of that group anyways. He's just made it known several times that he's just shouting at JD McDonough in his face that I don't need you, you need me. Like that stuff like that. Like it's true.
Which, by the way, is true. They are a jobber group without Damian Priest.
Oh, absolutely. And Rhea Ripley, of course, but she's gone.
Yes. But different world altogether, Rhea Ripley.
But I think, like I said, I think that would be an awesome. I really want to see what I said earlier. I want to see Becky Lynch versus Liv Morgan, and Dominic Mysterio helps Liv Morgan win, and then we get some weird ass storyline that I don't even know what it's going to be. Is he in a relationship with Liv? It just is a lot of ways to go with it, but that's how I would do it. And I think Dominic Mysterio should be getting ready to get out of the Judgment Day too. I might think more highly of him than others, but I think he's got a really great potential, and I'd like to see him like as a single star out of that group. So, yeah, I just think the Judgment Day has run its course a little bit, and I think they're figuring out an interesting way to separate everyone, and I'm looking forward to it.
I got to say, nothing would make Dominic hate it even more than he already is, because the group of wrestling fans, the majority of them are overweight dudes that can't grab a girl at all, and for him to go to Rhea Ripley to Liv Morgan on screen, nothing would make us hate him more. Nothing would make us hate him more.
With that ridiculous mustache he has now too, that 70s porn stash with just two babes back to back, it would be infuriating. Yes.
Our next match on the card of the week has to do with the man who created Judgment Day, Mr. Adam Copeland. In AEW, because we have talked about for a while how, we're excited Adam Copeland is in AEW. We have some questions about what he's done since he's been in AEW. I really like the stuff with Christian Cage, but now it seems he is heading on into a bigger feud with the House of Black. And I, the AEW fan, was really excited by what I saw on Dynamite and was very interested to see what the future holds for this man. He beat Buddy Murphy in a match that was a great match, much longer than anyone anticipated it to go on. Buddy Murphy is an excellent worker in the ring. After the match, Buddy Murphy's on the ground, and Adam Copeland, the good guy, starts beating him up on the ground, grabs a chair, is about to do a concerto. Lights go out. Aleister Black shows up, tells him to do it. Buddy Murphy gets up on his knees, tells him to do it. Hit me with the chair. Adam Copeland's about to. Lights go out again, and they flee. Next week, he has a match with Brody King, another House of Black member. Kyle O'Reilly comes up to him during one of those backstage interviews we were just talking about and says, I don't like what you're doing with House of Black. If you need any backup, I'm your guy. And Adam Copeland doesn't say thank you. He just says, don't look at my belt, look up here. He's getting very defensive. He's getting a little weary. He's getting a little agitated. And I am excited to see the future of what Adam Copeland can bring if this is the road we're going on. I don't know how much House of Black we have left in AEW. They're the biggest rumored bits, especially Aleister Black to head to WWE when those contracts are up with AEW. But if this is sort of the final feud and Adam Copeland sort of takes the helm of this, sort of dark and evil, powerful being, I like that for this character. I like Adam Copeland as a bad guy. As much as he wants to be the face, as much as he wants to be the guy that everyone cheers, to me, he comes off as a natural heel. Yeah. And you could eventually pair him up with Christian Cage down the road as a heel team. So I'm very excited to see this week of Adam Copeland. Probably the most excited I've been since he's entered the world of AEW. But you, my friend, how did you feel about this segment and about what we could be walking into the future of Adam Copeland in AEW?
Well, yeah, I agree with you about like how much time left do we have with House of Black, because Malachi Black's, I think, married to Zelina Vega. Buddy Murphy's engaged to Rhea Ripley. I feel like they're on just waiting, like Ricky Starks, just waiting for that bus to come pick them up to Connecticut. But I House of Black, I really enjoy Aleister Black, Malachi Black, whatever you want to talk about. I like everybody in that group, but they just have never clicked for me at all. In AEW, they're starting to now, and I feel like they're on their way out, which is very annoying. But it's just a wasted opportunity to me of the House of Black. Everybody in that group But Edge, I agree. This is like the best little bit he's had so far. I really enjoyed this segment tonight, and yeah, I'm intrigued about the feud. But again, if it's just like he vanquishes House of Black, and then what? You know,
Well,
like if
that's what
they're
I'm
leaving.
saying.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
he not only vanquishes, I think he takes over. I think he takes their place.
Oh,
Like
oh, I see what you're saying.
I'm looking at Adam Copeland becoming the king baddie here because he's
Oh,
not.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
I don't think he's going down this road to just go back to good guy wearing a leather jacket and riding a motorcycle. Like this was definitely dropping seedlings of a dark, dark turn here, a sinister turn. And that's what I'm looking forward to. Would that intrigue you?
Yeah, because when he was in WWE, he was at his best as a heel, as Edge against John Cena, the ultimate babyface. So if you want to find a star in AEW, whoever you want to make the next big babyface, turn Adam Copeland into the biggest heel, one of the biggest heels in the company, and you have a great storyline because Adam Copeland is a natural heel. Edge is a natural heel. He always has been. He's been a babyface for a time when he had to retire. Like everybody loved him then, but when he's in his element, when he's at his best, he's a heel. So I agree.
Yeah. All right, let's go. Let's see what happens. Let's also see what happens with a group that also could be coming back as sort of dark and sinister, potentially heels. And we don't know what is about to happen, but there is a lot of rumors out there, a lot of hints that have been dropped during television and not on television, on social media, QR codes, and all this other stuff. It is a very real possibility that we are getting the return of some type of Wyatt family build here with Uncle Howdy, with Eric Rowan has just re-signed with WWE. Braun Strowman came back this week. Walk us through what you think's going to happen, what you want to happen, and what you're excited for here with Uncle Howdy.
Well, Bray Wyatt was one of. I'll be honest, I really enjoyed him, but he also frustrated me to no end because he would have these elaborate debuts and these elaborate entrance, like his return at Extreme Rules 2022 with the QR codes for months leading up to it was unbelievably well done. And then when he got there, it's like, whoa, we got nothing. We have no idea what we're doing. So I'm hoping that they're doing these QR codes things now, and they're flashing random images during Gunther's match during Raw, the street signs. So there's all types of cryptic, weird messages going on. I'm hoping they have a real long-term plan, and I think Triple H does. I don't think you bring some kind of like homage to Bray Wyatt and not have a real plan because the man tragically died last year. So I think they're going to have a real plan, and I want to see. I don't know if Braun Strowman's going to be involved. He was drafted to Raw. If they go to SmackDown, we don't know. We don't know which brand they're going to go.
Let's talk about the draft in a second. I got a lot of thoughts about that stupid draft. Keep going, though.
But Braun Strowman just returned. He was out since May. Alexa Bliss has not appeared since Royal Rumble 2023. She was aligned with The Fiend. I want to see her back. And I think it would be great to have Rowan, Strowman, Bliss, and Howdy, and whoever else you want in a faction. There was a rumored faction called the Wyatt Six back in the day that we never got to see. So I want to see the Wyatt Six and whoever the other two are, Howdy, Strowman, Bliss, Eric Rowan, whoever else they want to do. But that's what I want to see. I want to see the Wyatt Six as Uncle Howdy as the leader, because Bo Dallas can actually talk. If you didn't know, Uncle Howdy's betrayed by Bray Wyatt's brother, Bo Dallas, and Bo Dallas can cut a promo. So I'm intrigued. That's what I want to see.
He can also wrestle his ass off. Yeah, so I'm all for it, man. I am all for it, for all of those men and women to be on my television screen again. And I hope exactly what you hope, that we're not just paying homage here to get a pop and sell a couple tickets. I want a long-term plan here, because Bo Dallas is also one of those guys that deserves it. He was, just sort of meandering around for years before he was let go by WWE, and then he's now back. Bo Dallas deserves a Cody Rhodes-esque run, because he is, in my eyes, that good and has the potential to be that over if you give him the reins to something. And hopefully this could be it. And I think they all deserve it, and I'm excited to see it. But we have now reached the main event of the week, the last segment we are going to talk about. And it is the main event of what WWE has been promoting endlessly for what seems to be the last month. And it happened over the week on Raw, on SmackDown, and NXT. And it is in conjunction with the NFL. It is the WWE Draft. And Bob, I want to be very clear when I say this is not just coming from an AEW fan. I could not give two shits about the WWE Draft. I personally hate the brand split. I hate that we have guys on Raw and SmackDown and they can't go to other places and they can't fight for other titles because they end up fighting for them anyway whenever they fucking want to. And the fact that we had the WWE Draft and we had to sit through people coming out and saying, I draft CM Punk to the same brand he's always been on over and over and over and over again. You, as the WWE fan, are you grabbing your popcorn every year when it's the WWE draft, or do you not care about this gimmick whatsoever?
No, and I don't care about it. I hate it. I don't know how they can fix it, but whatever they're doing right now is god awful.
Yeah.
It's so boring. I just want to emphasize that. So once again, so boring. Like, I just have never been more bored in my life watching a wrestling show than watching middle-aged people walk up to a podium, read a card over and over again for people that we already. CM Punk got drafted Raw. Drew McIntyre got drafted Raw. The only, like, the biggest news is damage controls coming from SmackDown to Raw. Who cares? I like damage control. No, not a lot of people, like, they're not this huge act. And just the only thing I will say one positive before I continue with my negativity. I like the NXT call-ups and how Lyra Valkyria and Blair Davenport had no idea they were getting called up. That was a genuine reaction. That was cool, like the NFL draft when they cut to these kids with their families and they get emotional. I love that part of the draft. They're achieving their dream. I'm a sensitive softie. That's what I like, that stuff. But I just, the presentation, and just when you sit back and think about it for 2 seconds, like, why the hell would, like, half these people be drafted before CM Punk or Drew McIntyre? Like, just the looking at the list, it's like, you idiot. Like Adam Pearce is like pissed. He's like pissed that he lost out on some guy. It's like, you idiot. Take him to the other draft first. Yeah, well, you moron. Like, it annoys me. It could be so much better. It could be like Nick Aldis and Adam Pearce. I used to hate authority figures in WWE because it was like Shane McMahon sweating bullets every time he spoke, and Stephanie McMahon nasally yelling. Adam Pearce and Nick Aldis are two excellent authority figures. They own that role. They're both wrestlers. They could have a match at WrestleMania if they wanted to. They could have done so much stuff with this, like, angle, and it just felt like they just phoned it in. And the Triple H before the show was like, we got to make sure we put on a great show for these fans. The WWE draft is important. And they just took a dump on the screen, on Raw and SmackDown, both nights. It was cool to see Teddy Long. He works at Sportskeeda. It was good to see that guy. That's about it. That's the only part I enjoyed about the draft, is seeing Teddy Long and JBL, the cameos, I guess. But no, it didn't work. It didn't work for me at all. And I'd rather them just do away with it, or just do like the old lottery ball thing that they used to do for, like, the Royal Rumble, just pick names out.
Bob, I got the answer for you, because when you emailed me about what you wanted to talk about this draft, you also wrote at the end, what would you do to fix the WWE draft? And my mind got to thinking, and I don't want to give this answer wrong, because I don't want WWE to get any better than it is. I'm an AEW fan. Okay. I enjoy WWE, but I don't want them to get any farther in the lead than they already are here. But I have the fix for this WWE draft, and you spoke about it already, and it involves NXT. Listen, again, if you want to have the brand split, you want to have teams, then do it. But you know what makes the NFL draft so special? It's not an expansion draft. It is guys you've never met going to teams you already know. You're not drafting Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady and Josh Allen every week, because if Kansas City drafts Pat Mahomes, we don't cheer. It's already on the team. What you need to do with this WWE draft is, if you're drafted to Raw and SmackDown, you're there. You're not in the draft every year. You're already on Raw and SmackDown. Congratulations, you've done it. You're locked into a contract. Make that part of the storylines. CM Punk wants to go to SmackDown. Well, hey, we'll trade you to SmackDown for Jey Uso. Whatever those plan to be, make that part of the storyline. The WWE draft should solely be for call-ups from NXT. And they don't need to be on Raw and SmackDown. Doesn't need to be a 2-episode draft. Make one of the episodes the draft, whatever that show gets it, whatever broadcast gets it, and have it solely be all those wrestlers in NXT sitting in front of the ring as they were. And whether they know or they don't know, all we're doing here is picking from the NXT to build the roster, to build the teams that we already have. And you can make this matter. The first pick from NXT matters, it doesn't matter what picks you have now in the WWE draft. This first pick matters because I'm getting the best NXT prospect. Have Nick Aldis and Adam Pearce go down to NXT for the weeks leading up to the draft to do scouting matches. Have interviews with Shawn Michaels as if he was the head coach, talking about these prospects. Put together video packages for these guys so you sell them to the audience that they're about to get drafted to. This is what a WWE draft is. NXT, yes, you want to make that the third brand, but we all know it is the developmental brand. And so if you sell it as these guys have done everything they can in NXT and now they're coming up to the big leagues, that's what makes the WWE draft special. Get those reactions. Get them hugging Triple H at the desk like they're hugging Roger Goodell. That to me is what the WWE draft should all be about. And save all debuts, unless it's a special guy like Braun Breaker. Save all debuts from NXT for the WWE draft. That's what I'm about.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I just want, when you just mentioned Braun Breaker, just something stupid about this draft is Braun Breaker signed with SmackDown and like 2 months ago and defeated Zion Quinn. We did that Jobber of the Week, and Cameron Grimes.
Jobber, actually.
Yeah. Cameron Grimes and Cedric Alexander in squash matches. Cedric Alexander is the only one on that list who has not been released yet. I'll keep you updated. Zion Quinn and Cameron Grimes are gone.
Keep refreshing.
But why the hell did they have Braun Breaker sign with Nick Aldis and pose on the entrance ramp only to get drafted to Raw?
Because it doesn't make any sense. Bob.
Yeah,
it doesn't make any sense.
Very frustrating. They just really dropped the ball on the draft, like worse than last year. Last year,
I just fixed it. It's okay. I just fixed it. Triple H, I know you're listening. I just fixed it for you. But that is it for the main card of the week. Let's quickly buy and sell the Backlash pay-per-view, which is happening in France. It is happening in France, and I don't know what time that begins, but just know you're not going to be watching it at a normal time. And there is a total of 5 matches for this card. My question to the audience here and to Bob is, should you buy this pay-per-view or sell it? I know it's part of a subscription package, but it's the same sentiment. There are 5 matches here. We're going to go through all of them. We're going to tell you whether you buy, sell the matches. And then at the end, do you buy or sell this pay-per-view? Are you paying attention, or are you reading Bob's recaps on Sportskeeda to keep up with it? The first match of the night, tag team match. Nobody's a champion, but it does involve the bloodline, the new bloodline. Maybe some debuts on the way. It's Randy Orton and Kevin Owens versus the bloodline of Solo Sikoa and Tama Tonga. Bob, are you buying or selling this feud?
I'm actually buying this one because I actually do enjoy the new bloodline, and I think we're going to see a debut at Backlash. I don't know if I'm stealing your thunder here, but I think Jacob Fatu makes his debut and costs Kevin Owens and Randy Orton. What?
I could be wrong, but I don't think it's Fatu.
Fatu?
I think it's Fatu.
Fatu.
I don't think you come out and here's Fatty. No, I think it's Fatu.
Well, he's a big guy. But Jacob Fatu, I think he will be making his debut at Backlash this week and helping the bloodline win.
No,
I am buying this match. Okay.
I'm buying it too. I like Tama Tonga. I like the new bloodline here. I love Randy Orton and Kevin Owens, and I do think there's some fun stuff that could happen here. I'm buying it as well. The next match, the Kabuki Warriors, who are the tag team champions, the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, if we want to be precise, versus Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill. Buying or selling this match?
Selling. Hard. I like Bianca Belair and I like Jade Cargill. I don't much care for them as a tag team. I think they're both going to be better off as single stars. I feel like this is just a transitional champion to get it off the Kabuki Warriors, and I haven't really enjoyed the Kabuki Warriors title reign either. So I'm just selling the women's tag team division until they come up with something that's interesting, and this, to me, is barely interesting, but not enough.
Who wins this?
Oh, I'm Belair and Cargill because Damage Control got drafted to Raw, so that's they're going to give the titles to Belair and Cargill on SmackDown.
And who did you say won the Bloodline RKO match?
The Bloodline.
Okay, yeah, I'm going with Bloodline as well, and I'm going with Cargill and Bianca Belair as well, and I'm also selling that feud because I don't care. I do not care. I don't care. So far, we're tied here. I'm not tied. We're completely in line so far. One by one, sell the third match, a triple threat match for the WWE Women's Championship. The champion Bayley versus Naomi and Tiffany Stratton. We talked about Bayley when she got the belt. I actually know we did this with Becky Lynch when she got the belt after Rhea Ripley had to give it up. Who did we want Becky Lynch's first feud to be? And we were torn between a vet that deserves a spot or a new face, a new person on the roster that needs that push up to the title. This is what's happening in this match. Bayley is the champion. She's facing an old face, a veteran that has been there before, and also the new face, Tiffany Stratton. I am selling this build. I am buying the potential of this match because all three women here intrigue me to no end when it comes to wrestling. Triple threats are my favorite match type. If we're going through all of them, I love a triple threat match, and these three women should be able to bring the house down. So I'm selling the feud, buying the match. What about you?
I think we're going to be in total. Who do you have Bailey winning, or do you have someone?
Bailey retains. Bailey retains.
Yeah, I think we're going to be in pretty much agreement. Like this whole show, it's only a 5-match card, but I haven't been intrigued in the rivalry at all. But I'm buying the match exactly like you said, and mainly because Tiffany Stratton. For me, I'm a huge Bailey fan, and I said if we wanted first singles match at WrestleMania, I'm glad she won a title. And I don't think Tiffany Stratton's winning or Naomi's winning here either. I think Bailey's retaining. That's my prediction. But I want to see Tiffany Stratton have another showcase moment because she's only 25 and is the future of that division. And she's already like impressed me to no end. So I'm just excited to see what Tiffany Stratton does in this match. But Bailey's winning. They're not taking the title off her a month after winning it.
Completely in line. Let's move on to the second to last match on the card. Damian Priest, the World Heavyweight Champion, is taking on Jey Uso. As much as we talked about Damian Priest and the Judgment Day and how the Judgment Day needs Damian Priest, and we talked about the Usos, now they're coming out and how they're disappointed in the match that they had in WrestleMania. You know, they go figure. Maybe you should have actually done something in the match. You could have fixed that potential of disappointment, guys, if you actually booked anything in that match of any value whatsoever. I am selling hard on this match. I like both of these guys. I don't care about this feud. I don't care about the Damian Priest, the title holder. I hope something happens with Judgment Day here. If Damian Priest loses the title after waiting a year to cash in, I'll be very disappointed. Jey Uso could use a title. I'm not saying Jey Uso, isn't deserving of having that belt around his waist. I think Priest retains. I think this is a lame match, and I think it's the worst match on the card. Hard sell.
Well, I don't think it's – it could be actually looking – I think the Women's Tag Team Championship will be the worst match in the card. But I think Damian Priest –
Jade Cargill, five moves to do them. They work, man. Yeah. They're good moves.
I love both of these guys. I think Damian Priest is criminally underrated, even though he's a champion. I think he's a really good worker, and he's worked his ass off. He's like in his 40s. He's worked his ass off to get to here, and I'm really happy.
He deserves to be here.
Yeah, it's just this match, man. Jey Uso – I mean, he could be a singles champion. I give him like the IC title, maybe, but not the world heavyweight champion. He just doesn't do it. The yeet stuff is cute, but I'm a little over it, and I'm ready. I want this. If I were booking this match, I would have Damian Priest squash him, but they're not going to do that. It's just to make Damian Priest look like a monster, because that would be great. Because I think Jey Uso should reunite with Jimmy soon and reform the Usos, but Damian Priest is winning this match. It's the same thing as Bailey. They're not taking the title off of him a month after he won it. If that happens, that would be a tragedy. If Damian Priest loses at Backlash, that would be awful.
Speaking of taking the title off him a month after he got it, the main event and the final match of Backlash France is Cody Rhodes, who is the undisputed WWE champion, versus AJ Styles. Buying or selling this feud, my guy?
I'm selling. And it's not because I don't
sad,
like these guys. I love AJ Styles and I love Cody Rhodes, but damn, you need to do a hell of a lot more than a contract signing to get me invested in this. Nothing happened during that contract signing on SmackDown. AJ's like, I'm coming after the title. And Cody's like, well, I'm going to hold it. That was the segment. And then they signed paper. There was no fisticuffs, no nothing, they need heat. So they need, I'm hoping that Friday on SmackDown, Styles brutally attacks Rhodes and they work an injury throughout. Yeah. But Cody Rhodes is winning, and I just feel AJ Styles, I would have just hit the refresh button, the restart button on him, but this match doesn't do it for me. It should be good, but again, there's just no investment for me.
If you had told me a year ago that I was going to sell a feud between Cody Rhodes and AJ Styles, one of whom is the champion, the biggest champion WWE has, and they're main eventing a pay-per-view and a feud together, I would have pre-booked my tickets that day. Okay? Yeah. And I'm right there, man, with you. Nothing. Absolutely nothing to make me want. I mean, I shouldn't say that. Everything makes me want to see these two guys face each other in the ring, but nothing they have done to book this match has made me want it more. And that's what you got to do when you're building a pay-per-view, when you're building a feud. I will say this before we move on to the gimmicks of the week, because it's come up. Cody Rhodes almost won Social Superstar of the Week for all the interviews he has given since he won the title. He went on Cheap Heat podcast, said some interesting things, talked about AEW a little bit, talked about Tony Storm, talking about him a little bit. It was very fun, very cool. I will say this. He left AEW for many reasons, One of the biggest reasons was the crowd desperately wanted that man to not be a babyface anymore. They desperately wanted that man to turn heel, and he would not do it. He did not want to do it. In WWE now, he is the champion. That Cheap Heat podcast, if you watch it again, you are watching Homelander from the Boys, that TV show. You are watching the potential for a man to be the supremely evil super being here. Do you think during this title run, we see Cody Rhodes break bad here? Do you think we see Cody Rhodes have the ability to turn on a dime here and squash away all this good juju he has built up and go on what I believe could be an epic, epic, epic heel run? Because if they unlock that side of Cody Rhodes, I don't think WWE will ever look back. I think it would be the most successful thing they could possibly do.
Here's what I will say is that I just read, I think it was on that same Cheap Heat podcast. He said, well, looking at the time left on my deal, I don't see a heel turn, but you never know. So he doesn't want to do it. You have to push him. He's like John Cena. He wants to be that guy. He wants to be insanely profitable. Every kid loves him. So I don't think you're going to have to convince him. And the crowd, like AEW, because it wasn't always like that, the crowd gradually over time turned on Cody Rhodes because of the ridiculous, like, Anthony Ogogo feud where he solved racism. Like, he just had a lot of ridiculous promos that because he was in an interracial couple, whatever that promo was, if you go back and look at it, it's unbelievable. Like, he's made a lot of when you don't have like a garter, like someone like pushing Cody Rhodes into direction, I feel like he can be a bit of a goof. I don't know, lack of a better word. So I don't think that's going to happen. I think Triple H has made him out to be the biggest babyface for the company for the foreseeable future. But before we forget, overall, are you buying or selling Backlash? I'm selling. I am not interested enough in this premium live event.
Yeah, I think I got 2 buys and 3 sells on the overall match card here. And one of those buys is just because I love the 3 women in the ring. So yeah, overall I'm selling. France. You guys, we exported you a bad product and we apologize for it. Maybe next time we'll give you a better one. But that is it for the Backlash pay-per-view breakdown. We are now going to end with the gimmicks of the week. First up, it's the return of the week. Welcome back, Braun Strowman. What do you got, Bob?
Oh, man. Braun Strowman has not been seen since last May. He underwent neck fusion surgery, which is Eric from the Viking Raiders has undergone that. Horrible stuff. Takes ages to come back, a lot of work. And he looked great. His hair was interesting. But other than that, he looked great on Raw. And I was happy to see him back. And he interacted with Patrick Mahomes, which was cool. WWE's just having Mahomes ringside. It's just that stuff's just going to only add to the product. But yeah, great to see Strowman back, and I hope he's a part of the Wyatt Six, as we talked about earlier.
That would be fun. Get well soon of the week. Darby Allin got hit by a bus. This man cannot catch a break. Apparently he was saving someone's life. I don't know. I barely read the story. All I knew is he broke his nose, maybe broke his foot, has other injuries already, can't climb Mount Everest due to all the things he's done, still wants to climb Mount Everest. Darby, man, just sit in a comfortable chair for the next 6 months and come back when you can physically move again. Get well soon, my guy. After that, we have, the social media star of the week / contract news of the week / long debut of the week / everything of the week. We've been talking about Drew McIntyre for months. The man has a new sword, Bob. What's up?
Well, he's finally agreed to a new deal with WWE. So all our hopes and dreams of him possibly going to AEW and crapping on CM Punk on that show, it will not come true. He's going to continue his feud, his rivalry with CM Punk. And I'm guessing he's going to be winning that World Heavyweight Championship at Clash of the Castle in June. That's my guess. We'll see. But Drew McIntyre is back. And as for Social Superstar of the Week, he was on Pat McAfee's show and said if he wasn't married, he would steal CM Punk's girlfriend as well. So just epic stuff from Drew McIntyre as always.
I love him. And see, when Drew McIntyre says stuff, not to, tie this whole entire episode into a circle, when Drew McIntyre says stuff, it doesn't seem like he planned those lines out ages ago, like the Harvey Weinstein, Tony Khan line. I think that came out of his mouth, and he may regret saying it because CM Punk probably thinks he means it in real life and might try to attack him backstage, even though CM Punk, he ain't Jungle Boy size, put it that way. CM Punk only attacks people that are smaller than him. But yeah, I think Drew McIntyre is one of the best people of the world, and I'm very excited he's still in WWE, even though my AEW heart wants him. Instead, we're going to the jobbers of the week because we have new signings in AEW, and let me tell you about them. The grizzled young vets, James Drake and Zach Gibson, left WWE due to anger with creative and how they were being used, and then They lost to the Acclaimed, who are most famous recently for Max Caster being a dickhead. Good job, guys. Happy to see you. Hope you have a long AEW run. Have you heard of Ring of Honor?
Yeah, they're heading there soon, man.
That's pretty much it. Welcome to the show, though. Ending the week with headlines of the week. What do you got for WWE? Bob.
I've got some bad news.
Jesus Christ. I never have one for this. I never have one prepared.
It's only a segment we do every single week.
I'll get it. I'll just say WWE needs to come up with something much more interesting following Backlash. Something needs to happen exciting at this premium live event, whether it's Jacob Fatu's debut or whoever. Something great needs to happen this weekend because the ratings fell during the draft. We didn't even mention that. So they need to, not that they're hurting ratings wise, but they need to get something going. Something interesting needs to happen. So something special is going to happen this Saturday at Backlash is my headline.
If anyone listening can turn that headline into one single sentence and all the commas and semicolons in it to make it one concisive headline, good for you, man. I would appreciate that.
Like the Michael Scott thing from The Office where he says the headline and they're like, that's like the whole fucking article. That's what that was. Go ahead.
My headline for AEW, this is something we have not talked about. I believe the Orange Cassidy heel turn we are about to see is going to be pretty fun if he joins the Don Callis family. I'm very intrigued by it. There's also parentheses in the headline. Can't believe I'm saying this, and this is true here. I really enjoyed the Jericho Shibata match, and I'm excited to see Learning Tree Jericho. I can't believe I'm saying it. But that is it for the Ridiculously Lame Wrestling Show. Yeah. And let's end, as we do every week, for this week in Ryback.